The movie starts with a world filled with brutal crimes and the streets being controlled by violence. It seemed like there would be no end to the wave of these brutal crimes until everyone agreed to end all crime using a crazy method. Somewhere in the city, James is taking his car to work while he talks to a client and also some co-workers, but he wishes them both a safe night. Then he hears the radio talking about people's plans for the Purge, one night out of the entire year where all crime is legal and people look forward to it to let out all their frustrations. James makes it home just 1 hour before the Purge starts and his wife Mary is making dinner and James has some good news that he wants to tell everyone. Mary watches the news as Dr. Peter talks about the Purge being a way to release the inner aggression of people to make the rest of the year peaceful. Zoe is in her room having some fun with her boyfriend, Henry, but he now has to leave to get home before the Purge. They see someone sharpening a machete for the Purge. Mary is outside when she runs into her neighbors and one even gives her some cookies and some gossip, but Mary goes in quickly. Mary is working in the kitchen when she spots the toy camera that her son Charlie uses and she tells him to come out and help her. He calls the toy Timmy and he's modified it a lot since before, but he is scared of the Purge and she calms him down. Later that night, they all sit down at dinner and James tells everyone that he finally made the most sales in his company. Charlie wrote a story in English class and he even jokes about it with Zoe, which the parents don't enjoy very much. But they all look at the clock and now it's time for lockdown. The Purge is finally starting and it is announced on TV for everyone that all crime and weapons are now legal for the next 12 hours. Sirens start to blare indicating the start and the family sits quietly and nervously. James tries to calm everyone down but Zoe just wants to be in her room so they let her go. Charlie also follows but not before asking why they don't participate in the Purge because he is confused about why people choose to be violent and James believes in the Purge and explains it to him. The streets are now empty and Zoe goes to check herself out when she hears a knock but doesn't give it any mind. As she listens to music she gets grabbed from behind by Henry who snuck inside to surprise her, but she's happy to have him here. Meanwhile, James is doing some work while the news is on TV. Mary decided to exercise a little and got on the treadmill to run for a bit. Carly is also playing with Timmy. While Henry and Zoe are having some fun in her bed when he finally tells her that he's not here for her but for her dad. She's worried that things will get worse if the two get to talk but Henry thinks it will all be fine. Timmy is rolling around when he gets to James's office as he works and watches the news about the Purge. Mary is looking at herself in the mirror when she also hears some gunshots outside and checks the cameras but they don't see anything until they leave and someone appears on the cameras. Charlie takes Timmy down the hall and into the office whenever he sees all the camera feed and spots someone running across the street. Meanwhile, Henry convinces Zoe to talk to James and the parents are in bed when Charlie goes to see the footage in person and sees the man screaming for help. Henry also goes down the hall while Zoe listens to her music. Charlie wants to let the injured man into the house and punches in the code that opens the security system and calls over the man who runs into the house who barely makes it inside and is met by James and Mary. That's when Henry shoots James and he shoots back, injuring Henry. Zoe takes Henry to her room because she is scared and the rest go to the bedroom trying to avoid the man who made it into their house. James wants to make sure that Zoe is safe and Mary wants to go but he stops her and goes out himself. James makes his way through the house until he finds Henry, passed out in her bedroom. He checks his pulse and sees that he's dead but doesn't notice the man behind him. Mary and Charlie are in the bedroom when she hears Zoe and goes out looking for her. She finds her and finds out that Henry is dead and Zoe runs off. Meanwhile, outside, some people are making their way to their houses with weapons. James looks outside and understands that his family is being targeted. He tells Mary about Henry's death while Charlie watches the people heading to their house. They see the masked man at their door who wants to come in. The man at the door tells them that they're here for the man who got into the house and they want him back, since they want to finish what they started and kill him since he is homeless and deserves to die. They have equipment that will allow them to break into the house but they want the family to release the man peacefully to not get hurt themselves so they cut the power. James and Mary are arguing because he doesn't know for sure that people can get past the security system. James wants to give them the man to keep his family safe using the guns but Charlie disagrees. James then goes out into the dark house with a flashlight, hoping to find the man. Mary also heads to the kitchen but gets startled by the people knocking on the doors. Charlie is watching the security feed of the freaks playing around outside as they wait for the time to run out and his heart rate is climbing. Meanwhile, James finds the man and chases him down the hall but he disappears quickly. Charlie is also looking for him now using Timmy. He finds him hiding behind the couch and goes to get a closer look. He signals to the man in Morse code until he finally gets his attention and leads him away. Mary is now at the stairs, still looking for the stranger in their house while Charlie is leading him to another room. Mary follows the hall up the stairs while holding a gun and Charlie helps the man hide in his old spot. Mary is getting closer to him and even gets to the closet and checks behind the clothes but doesn't find anything so she leaves. James is also looking when the leader outside asks to have a conversation. James goes to the front door to have a conversation about the man inside their house. This is their last warning to find the man and hand him over to them as they drag their dead friend from the door. At the same time, Charlie finally takes off his glasses and sees all the people at his door, so he goes back to controlling Timmy until Zoe finds him because she is confused about the people outside. But she has a gun too and is going to hide in his spot, but the man is already hiding there. James is still looking for the man and finds him holding Zoe hostage with the gun and forces him to go back. The man doesn't want to hurt anyone but is only being forced to do this to survive. James is talking to him, taking his attention until Mary sneaks up behind him, but he spots her and throws Zoe to the wall to distract them and run away. James tackles him and after some scuffle, he shoots him and knocks him out. James wants to tie him up and give him up to the freaks while Zoe is passed out. James and Mary tie up the man with tape as Charlie watches in horror about what has happened. James and Mary are trying to get the man on a chair, but he wakes up and tries to escape. James holds him and tells his wife to get a knife and cut through his wounds to get him to stop until he finally submits, so they put him on the chair and tape him up again as the man struggles to accept his fate. They have doubts about their actions, but James's mind is made up despite Mary feeling that this is wrong. She didn't expect her husband to turn this evil, but then they see that Charlie is missing, so she goes looking for him. Meanwhile, James is keeping the man secure when he sees Zoe awake and talks to her, but her eyes are blank because she is in shock about everything that has happened. James turns to find the man free from his mouthguard, who tells him to give him up to save his kids, but now James isn't so sure about it. Mary is looking for Charlie when she sees the freaks outside with a truck and chains. She tells Mary about the people outside, but he now wants to save the man and tells Charlie to hide in the basement while handing him a gun. They're going to fight them off. James and Mary get the weapons ready and he tells her to cover the other side of the house and shoot anyone who tries to come in. The leader tells them that their time is now up and is disappointed in them and is now going to kill them all along with the stranger. The truck pulls the protective door apart and James sends Mary away as he hides behind a wall to wait for the freaks to enter. They shoot the glass doors and windows first as Mary and the kids are hiding in the basement. The stranger is trying to cut himself loose. Someone made it inside and shot through a door. Mary is hiding in another room when a girl walks in with 2 machetes and skips through the halls. The doors open and the leader makes it inside with his gun. At the same time, Charlie is hiding in the basement and doesn't know that they've breached the house. He is looking at the door with his flashlight when he sees that it's been opened. Suddenly, when he is trying to crawl, he gets grabbed by one of the freaks and gets dragged across the floor. The freak has a gun pointed at him and is about to shoot Charlie when he gets shot from behind by James, who arrives just in time to save his son. Meanwhile, the leader finds a picture of Zoe and looks for her as she hides under the bed. The leader walks in as she tries to keep quiet and he leaves the room. Charlie and James are safe as Mary walks through the house quietly as she is followed by someone. James shoots someone dead as a couple walks through the house with an axe. James finds them and tries to shoot, but he can't hit either of them and they all get in a fight. The man is trying to choke him when James uses a pool ball to hit him and shoot the girl, but the man is still alive and the two get in a fight until James knocks him out, but someone else jumps through the window and tries to shoot him, but James avoids the bullets and before the freak could reach the shotgun, James hits him with the axe. James is alone now, but he finds the woman dead and goes through the house but gets stabbed by the leader, who sets him down because he feels that his soul is now cleansed and kisses him on the forehead and leaves him to die. But James is not dead. The rest are trashing the house while Charlie is watching the security feed of another couple coming to shoot down the freaks outside. Meanwhile, Mary is still walking through the house alone until a couple of freaks catch her. They put her down and mess with her, but before the woman can kill Mary, the couple shoots her and the other freak. Mary gets up to find no one there, so she sneaks past the corner to find James on the stairs. She calls for her kids and Charlie shows up, but the leader is now there with his gun. He was about to shoot them when Zoe came and killed him. Everyone is crying when their neighbors come in because they are the ones that saved them. But they are also here to kill them and they drag away James because he's dead. They drag the others and tie them up with tape as they struggle, but they can't do anything. Mary begs and pleads them to not kill her kids, but the others are too deranged to stop. They do a chant as the family hug each other, waiting to die. But then the toy rolls through and the stranger comes in and kills one and gets the others to drop their weapons and untie the family. As he holds them at gunpoint, Mary refuses to let him kill them. The morning comes as everyone sits in silence around the dining table and Mary asks them all questions because she finally sees them for who they are, two-faced liars. While her kids are saddened by the death of their father, Mary is at the table. When the woman tries grabbing her gun, Mary hits her in the face because she's had enough of the killing and sits back down until she hears the sirens, signaling the end of the purge, and she kicks everyone out. The movie ends as the stranger is about to leave, but not before Mary thanks him for saving her kids. He walks out and Charlie sees him doing it as the rest of his family watch on as emergency services are heard around the city. They are finally safe, but only until next year. With that, the movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.